Welcome to another edition of the Chief Audit Executive Briefing. Hey, if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that I have been talking about some of the challenges in the internal audit profession. And these are actually real challenges that we're seeing. We're seeing them all over the world, about kind of this disconnect between the value that we believe we're providing and the value that management thinks we are providing. And, the more that I think about it, talk to people, and look back on my own experience, there's a few things that you'll hear me continue to talk a lot about, and that is trying to move to really be a trusted advisor and also to take more of a risk-based internal audit approach. Those two things will actually help us take advantage of some of the opportunities that these challenges are presenting to our profession. Now, I've had risk-based internal auditing on my mind a lot lately. I've done 2 webinars on that in the last 2 weeks. And what I find usually when I talk to people is people kind of fall into 3 different camps. There's the group that says, you know what, we're not even really trying to do risk-based internal audit right now. We're just doing compliance work or SOX work. There's a group that says, you know what, we've really, we're doing risk-based auditing, we're fine. But then what I find too is there's a lot of people that think they're doing it, but actually are not. And what ends up happening is when I start asking a few questions to people, they realize very quickly that maybe their audit plan and what they're doing is not really as risk-based as it should be. So included below, I've got, like I said, I just did 2 webinars on this in the last 2 weeks. One that kind of talks generally about the principles of risk-based internal auditing, because again, I believe that there's some misconceptions and myths that are out there about it. And as a result, a lot of people are going about it the wrong way. And the second one is a deeper dive into it where I really answer more questions that people had. So if this is an area that you are trying to improve your risk-based approach at your organization, I'd suggest that you go out and take a look at it. Now, some of the things that we talk about in there relate to things like emerging risks. So a lot of people are asking, well, how do I identify or figure out what some of these emerging risks are, or the risks that are kind of coming around the corner that my organization hasn't seen before? Well, I actually answer that in those webinars. Also talk a little bit more about some of the processes and about levels of risk and categories of risk. Because again, that is one of the reasons why there is a disconnect, because often internal audit is focusing on different levels or types of risks that are completely different than the ones that executive management are really concerned about. So take a look at that. There's links down below for that. And as I said, this has been on my mind a lot. You're going to hear me talking a lot more about this. But just, again, wanted to make sure and get that out there to everybody this week. So hope you have a great week, and I will talk to you this next week.